Oh!
It's r2youtube.com. That's R2 youtube.com, and tell them Velvet sent you. Oh yeah.
Let's go down.
This is Rasslin Rage.
Do it now.
This is Rasslin Rage.
Scream it out loud.
This is Rasslin Rage. Cody Fleming is the man who leads the brigade.
Hey everybody, it's Cody here from Rasslin Rage, and I am here with Heidi Katrina before XBW in Port Huron, Michigan at the American Legion of downtown Port Huron. So thank you so much for joining me today.
Pleasure.
Awesome stuff. So the first thing I wanted to ask you is how did you get involved in professional wrestling?
Well, I watched wrestling when I was young, you know, as we all do. Wrestled my brother, saw WCW I think it was like on a Friday night,
Yes,
like
ma'am.
Monday Nitro on a Friday, and I was just like, wow, that's cool.
Okay, so you watched it, and then did you start train? I know you're from the United Kingdom. Did you train there initially?
Yeah, so what it was, it's like, obviously we all grow out of it when we find out, you know.
Yeah.
Later on kind of thing. So I basically went to my first wrestling match, like when I was 21, WWE match actually, and I was like in the second row, and I was just like, oh my god, I've realised like I'm on the wrong side of the barrier, and like everyone always told me, oh, you should be a wrestler, Heidi, and I always knew I would, but like I kind of just never had that opportunity and moment where I was like, right, this is it. And when I was in the second row, that's when I was like, oh god, right, this is it. Now's the time. And then the day after, I looked for wrestling schools, and that was 8 years ago.
Well, nice. So you talked about in your promo in for XBW that you're trained by Robbie Brookside.
Yes.
Now, was that your initial trainer, or did you get to him later on, or how did that work out?
Yeah, so I kind of started in a place called Lucha Britannia.
Okay.
So that's kind of like, you probably know the name Will Ospreay, like he was from that school.
yeah.
So like I kind of made that my first base camp, and then I was just like wrestling there and stuff, and certain areas around Essex, and then I found out about Robbie through Rhea O'Reilly actually.
Oh.
And then we all kind of went up there together one day, and me and Robbie just really hit it off. Like he really understood my body language, I understood his, and then that was it really. I just kept going back and back and back for about 4 years. Like it's quite far away from London, but I would get the bus up every single weekend. It would take like 9 hours on the bus, and then 9 hours back, and then I had a 9 to 5, so I was just grinding 24/7, 7 days a week. Yeah.
So you had a 9 to 5 plus training, plus taking
Yeah.
You said how long was the bus ride?
9 hours. So
Nine.
actually, my life used to look like this. So morning, gym. Then I had a 9 to 5 on my lunch break. I would run to the gym, 40 minutes at the gym, and then afterwards I'd run to catch my train to wrestling school, and then at the weekends I'd wrestle. And then 4.5 years ago, I got invited to Japan, and then I packed up my normal job, and that was it. Never looked back since.
So now
Touch wood.
So now professional wrestling is
It's
a
my
full-time
full-time,
job?
yeah.
Full-time
But
job?
what I'm saying is like it was a long, hard road, and I just never gave up. Like I kept grinding, and
Right.
people would always be like, "Oh God, Heidi, aren't you tired? Aren't you tired?" I'm like, "No,
Yeah.
because I want this,
Sure.
so I don't have time to be tired."
No, when I was just talking about this with somebody else earlier, is you just came back recently from Japan.
Yeah.
And I was talking about this I noticed on Facebook, like you had got off the plane,
Yeah.
took a picture, and then within the half hour to an hour later, you
That's
were in
me.
the gym.
That's me.
And I see this all the time with you.
Yeah.
So you're really dedicated to what you're doing.
Yeah.
That's pretty awesome.
Only one life.
Right. Well, that's cool. Now, so I want to talk about a couple names here.
Sure.
Now, some of these lists that they have online, I know they're not always real accurate,
Yeah.
but there are. But you've seen some of these top talents already. You've already wrestled some of these people, like Toni Storm. You know, you actually beat her for a title, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, correct.
You know, and then Aja Kong, right? Now that's a huge name in Japan in wrestling, women's wrestling. Oh, she was just in Double or Nothing not too long ago too. And then you got Rhea O'Reilly and Rosemary. That's pretty awesome. What's it like for you to see a lot of these ladies, women in the big leagues now? And what's that like for you? You know what I'm saying? Because you're right behind them, aren't you?
Yeah, honestly, I love seeing success in the female area of wrestling. Like, I just love female wrestling at the moment. I've always been like behind it, but now I think it's like on the rise, and finally we're getting like the gratitude that we deserve.
Amen.
You know, and when I see girls killing it and they're in the top and they're headlining and all the rest of it, I just love it. Like finally we are looked at as actual athletes rather than props.
Amen to that. I like how you put that, because we're getting away from that with the bra and panties matches and whatever. Now we're actually seeing real wrestling matches with women. And even I gotta ask you, what's your take on the intergender thing? Because there's a lot of people that are like, well, I don't like it, and then there's people that are like, well, whatever. And I always I go to Tessa Blanchard versus Brian Cage at Wrestle Circus, because that worked. So what's your thoughts on that?
It's probably a little strange, but basically I do see both sides of the fence. Like I see how traditional people might not like, oh man, women fighting, oh it's wrong. But for me as an athlete, you know, I think if there's a man, and he doesn't have to be my size. I've done a lot of intergender matches, obviously, because I'm, you know, kind of bigger and stuff. But I think, you know, if I feel like I can take on that bloke, then it makes sense. But also, you know, video games.
Right.
If I'm playing Mortal Kombat, I'm going to be, you know, or Street Fighter, I'm going to be Cammy, and there's going to be somebody else, and it's going to be a bloke. So it's the same concept for me.
No, and I get it.
It's like Sub-Zero versus Sonya. It makes sense.
I agree with you on that.
And the wrestling world, it's a reality land, and we're all in a video game.
Right. Yeah. I agree. I totally get that.
Yeah.
So this is your first time in Port Huron, Michigan, am I correct?
Yeah.
What have you? I know you got here earlier. What's the thoughts so far?
It's beautiful. Like I love being near the water. It reminds me of like being back home and stuff. You know, like Brighton or whatever.
Yeah.
South End. Not that you'll know where these places are, but
yeah. Actually, I do.
Really?
Yeah, I did. I took a vacation over in
that's
London
cool.
not too long ago.
Yeah.
I wasn't there. Wish I got there a little longer than what I was. But
It's just that beach vibe. It reminds me of like the camp shows in England, you know, by the beach, and everyone's got their ice cream in the summer, and the kids are coming. I love it. Yeah.
Good.
Good vibes.
So you're here in the United States now. Are you currently living here now? Or?
So I'm just on a tour.
You're on a tour, so you're just
stopping
kind of stopping through
until my next. I've got a tour of Japan coming up again. I was supposed to be in Japan now, but it's been postponed till October, which I'm glad, because I want to get more taste of America. Because I've just come back from Japan. So
right. So in your promo, you talked that you were in how many different countries have you wrestled in now?
13.
13 countries.
Yeah, I can't
So you've been in the
remember all of
business
it.
8 years, and you've already done 13 countries.
Yeah.
How does that happen? Like, just did you really bust in your ass, or
Honestly, like I'm not even gonna lie. Like the only person that really knows how hard I've worked is me.
Right.
And like, you know, when I look at myself in the mirror, like I know how hard I've worked, because I'm alone with myself all the time. Like the hours, the times, the like, just for example, like I said earlier, like just running to catch my train, just so I could try to be on time for training. Like it's that kind of discipline that I have, like as an athlete, and respect for the business.
Yeah, definitely. That's awesome. So, before we get out of here, I want to have you tell them, you know, if you got social media, anywhere that people can follow you, or maybe somebody wants to book you or anything like that. You want to throw that out there?
Yeah, sure. So Instagram is like at Heidi Katrina with 2 A's. Don't ask me why. And then Twitter is Heidi Katrina 2 A's, and then you can get me on Facebook. Try not to.
Right. Yeah. Don't be.
Try
stupid.
not to hound me.
Yeah. Don't be stupid.
No, it's all right.
Yeah,
I kind of walked into that myself by not making a page, but so it's like kind of this portion awkwardness of like fans,
Like, people are stupid.
promoters, and weird stuff that I
know.
get.
I
weird
get
pictures.
it. Yes, I get it. People
But
are.
it's all good. Like I appreciate the love and support I have.
People are a little weird sometimes, but
Hey, we're all weird.
yeah, well, that's true. Well, I want to say thank you so much
thanks
for joining
having me.
Very good, very good.
Pleasure.
All right, thank you. Awesome.
We are the Death Threat Army. Vehicle City villain Aaron O'Ryan.
Black Diamond Jack Price.
The Wild Child Jody Threat.
And weaponized Alex Weir. And you're watching Rasslin Rage live on Friday nights at 8 o'clock on YouTube.